Hello and welcome back to the Fat Dad Fishing Show. I'm your host, Rich Natoli, and we're going to have a fun one tonight. We have somebody on tonight that has never been on this channel, and as far as I know, she hasn't been on anywhere. But if you fish anywhere in New Jersey, salt water, and especially if you hit any of the party boats, you know who she is. We have Chell Bay Bay coming on. We have Captain Scotty Sevens is going to be the guest co-host tonight. But before we jump into that, oh, and by the way, the topic is pretty much what Chell does when she's on the water, and it's just catching things that swim. So there's not a specific topic. We're not talking specifically fall fishing. We're not talking striped bass or tog. We're talking anything and everything that comes up. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this one. I was talking to Scotty and Chell in the backstage a moment ago, and when we had the Fat Dad trip for Tog a couple of years ago and we weren't catching anything, I think it is actually John Creeley who said, you know, if Chell was here, she'd probably be catching them all and make us look even worse as a boat. And that's true. You hear Chell's name a lot on these boats. So she's going to be coming on, and we're going to be talking a little bit about her style of fishing, everything. And I've seen walleye all the way out to nice fluke. You saw the thumbnail. But before we jump into that, a couple of things, a little bit of the housekeeping. The first thing is, if this is your first time here, would love to get a follow, get a like if you're on YouTube, if you're listening to the podcast, a review on whatever site, and please share it out to anyone that you think would be interested. The podcast is actually growing pretty fast right now, and let's keep the momentum going. It really helps to get more and more guests on. So share it out, and everything you've done so far is greatly appreciated. Let's talk about our sponsors. We have Great Bay Outfitters on Radio Road in Tuckerton, New Jersey. Anything that you need kayak fishing related, whether it's freshwater or saltwater, Old Town, natives, anything. Oh man, they've got stuff on consignment too. And Paul loves to mess around with the motors like the Garmin Force. So if you're thinking about tricking out your sled there, you might want to reach out to Great Bay Outfitters and see what Paul can do, because he just gets excited when he can do those things, add on some new electronics, motor. He's churning out machines from that shop. So check them out. Quad State Tune, Kevin Driscoll is your guy. If you have a Toyota truck, so you look at, it's basically all models. So you look at the 4Runner, the Tundra, even the Lexus 460 and 470, the Tacoma, the 3rd gen with the gear hunting issues. If you get this tune, it will actually make the truck and the truck or the SUV shift a lot smoother, better torque, better horsepower, better mileage, and we could all use that. If you're towing a truck and you have a Toyota, you should really be reaching out to him. So 44633-5975, and the last sponsor is me, your trusty rusty real estate agent in southeastern Pennsylvania. If you're looking for, it's primary residential, so if you're looking for anyone to help you buy, sell, invest, give me a call. Number is 267-270-1145, or if you want to go to the website, it's richardnatoli.com. If you don't know how to spell my name, it's right underneath my face on the screen. So with that, we're going to pull on first Scotty. Welcome back, Scotty. Good to see you, man.
Good to be back so soon again.
Yeah, and you got to lift up what you got there. You got your co-host.
Hasn't made her Fat Dad appearance in a while.
Yeah, well, she had the purple tail last time.
Yeah, she still does. She still does, but it needs to be redone again.
Oh, okay. Good to see you, Starla. Good to see you, Scotty.
See you too, Rich.
Yeah, so Scotty's going to be coming on, not every show, but more regularly. We just have fun when we're hanging out and talking fishing. So we decided, why not do it a little bit more often instead of waiting for special events and all that stuff. So we're going to do our best. Now, Scotty is not like in the co-host role. So he is not the one who's responsible for monitoring chat. That's still me. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'll do my best. We'll try to get the questions in throughout this entire episode, but if we miss them, that's on me. It's not on Scotty. So you can yell at me. We should say hi to some of the folks that are in the chat right now. And you'd think with these glasses on, I could read it. So what do we have? SD0753, James Flynn. James, for the first time in a long time, you weren't the first one into the chat. Scotty's in there. I'm in there. I can't even read these. This resolution is terrible. Mr. Worth. I can't read it. It's all blurred. Then we got a few others in there. My brother is in there. I'm in there. And we've got a whole bunch watching that have not chatted at this point. Peter is in there. Bayside Dave, good to see you out there. Yeah, Scotty. So we're into the fall. The weather forecasts suck as far as the ability to forecast. And you ran into that today?
Yeah. Today was like completely blown forecast. You know, it forecasted 10 knots of wind, 2 feet, 8 seconds. You get out there and they're 4 to 5s by about 6 or 7 seconds. So, and blowing northeast. I was the smallest boat out there for most of like the day, and just got your teeth kicked in. You know what I mean? But it was worth it, and that's all that matters.
That's what I was going to say. But did you get on anything?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
We got 8 bass or so, and I would say between 42 or 43 all the way up to 47 and a half. And that's when the tape measure blew off the boat. And we got some bigger ones after that where we had to mark the rod. So I don't know where they're going to land, but yeah, there was some monster bass out there this morning. Bite shut down around 10 a.m. though, which is kind of sort of typical.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least you're out there getting them. The forecast for this week, at least in the Mid-Atlantic, for most of the Mid-Atlantic, looks like crap.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of fishing tomorrow. I'm actually going to be in New Jersey for a settlement of a property. And I was going to bring my stuff and just do some land-based fit. Well, first I was going to bring the kayak. I was like, I'm not going to do it. It's just going to be too much. Then I was like, all right, well, I'll just bring some land-based stuff. I'm like, I don't even know if I feel like doing that. So I may just be going down and heading right back. Although I'll be heading back with a check. But yeah, it's just that time of year where you just got to pick the days, and
you do. You do, and like you know as well as I do, there's some places you can hide from the wind depending on the wind direction, and there's just some wind directions, especially in the back bay here, where you just can't hide from it all. You know what I mean? And the run to get to where the hidden places are is just, it's just not even worth it. So yeah, this is going to be a really tough week.
Yeah, I figure I'll wait until maybe this weekend. I'll head down. If I do, it'll be Sunday.
Yeah.
I've got not an appointment. I have a social appointment on Saturday. My mother-in-law's birthday, so we're going out for a family lunch down in Delaware. But
Cool.
anytime I go that distance, I'm like, can I get away with bringing a rod? But there's no way I'm going to get away with that. So not going to happen. So maybe it'll be Sunday. We'll see. But hey, I don't want to go too long because we have Chell here, and let's get her on. Chell, whether you're ready or not, you're coming on stage. Here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stream.
Take me off.
What's up, baby?
Hi guys.
What's up, Chell?
Hi.
So this is I love having people on for the first time to this. So with this, I don't know how familiar you are with this podcast and live stream. We do a lot of repeat guests because it's not like the approach that a lot of them have, which is just get as many different people as possible to appeal to as many different people as possible and try to, kind of build up your numbers and everything. We're more about, let's just find people that like to talk fishing, that have something to say, have a unique perspective or unique personality, and let's just talk fishing. And, they'll be participating with us in the chat. And, as I mentioned before, your name always comes up, and I've never met you. There was one time that I heard that you were going to be on the trip that I was on and you weren't. I think Kristen said that you were thinking about going. Kristen, so Philly Fisher Girl or Fisher.
Was it an Osprey?
I think it was the Osprey.
Okay.
and she was hoping that you were going to go, but you did. I think it was with Kristen, and she said that you weren't able to make it. So I've never met the elusive Chell until now. So welcome aboard. It's good to see you.
Thanks. Good to see you guys.
So
I don't go ahead.
I was just going to say, so we promised it wouldn't be like a hard interview. It's just going to be talking fishing. So do you want to tell a little bit about yourself, or do you just want to jump into talk fishing?
I could talk about how I started. I mean, I started maybe only 5 years ago,
Yep.
fishing. So, I mean, I've always wanted to go fishing, and I never knew there was boats out there that go like these head boats out there in these private charters. But I work at the Veterans Hospital. I'm a veteran, and there was this group of veterans that always go fishing throughout the year. And if they had spots open, they would send me an invite, or they would, ask if they had a spot open, they would, invite me on. So I would go every once in a blue moon with them. And then I think someone said, you can go on these boats without waiting for us. There's boats out there. So I think the first boat that I tried by myself was Queen Mary for stripers. And someone mentioned to me, oh, you should try Jamaica too if you want to, go fishing. Like, they go out for the like different like sea bass or whatever. So
Right.
I think I went on Groupon, and I went for like the half day. And I was like, oh, this is kind of fun, and then I went for the second half, and then I came back the following weekend. And then I think someone mentioned to me, oh, are you gonna come in the wintertime? I was like, oh, they fish in the cold? And they were like, yeah, they go all year round. I was like, oh my God. So it was like, I think I just went like for a full year, like just whatever they were fishing for, I just did it. And I'm good friends. He's like one of my best friends, Chris. He's the head mate on Jamaica too. And he's taught me everything I mean, everything for fishing for saltwater. So everything I know and that I've caught is because of what he showed me. But I don't have anything. There's like a lot of people with special rods and this. I told them, this is my budget. I don't want to spend any more than this because I'm not trying to be a professional. I just want to be out here. I
Right.
mean, even when I'm not catching fish, I'm happy just to be out on the ocean. Like, I mean, it's a added bonus when I'm actually when I catch a fish. But when I'm out there, like literally on the ride home, I'm sitting like on the front of the boat and just looking at the ocean. So just being out there is the number one for me, and number two is catching the fish.
Yeah. It kind of, I can relate to that. To me, it's about being out on the water. It's not so, look, there was a time where it was all about catch as many fish as possible. Then it was catch the biggest fish possible. And then it's catch as many of the biggest fish as possible. And now it's just, I just want to be on the water.
Yeah.
It's that experience. But I will say also that your reputation is that you don't go without fish very often. Like you're one of those fishy people.
Yeah. I mean, I literally will. I mean, people that have fished with me and fish with me a lot, when I get on the boat, once that horn is honking or whenever we're ready to drop lines, I'm literally not, I won't talk to anybody. And I think I've been on like private charters where I'll fill a spot and I won't know anybody on the boat, which again is fine with me because I'm out on the boat and I'm just fishing. And I think, some people take it where I'm antisocial. It's not that. It's just I came on the boat to fish. And I mean, if I talk to people in between when we're going from spot to spot, but once we stop, I'm literally on that boat just to fish. And it's really not to socialize, it's really just to fish actually. And,
All
and
right.
just to be and just to enjoy the ocean. I mean, I'll speak to people, but I mean, my main focus is like just being on the water and catching. Usually, when I'm on a private charter, it's for something specific, and it's mainly tog. So
Yeah.
when I'm there to tog, I'm togging. I just want to tog, and that's it.
All right. Okay. So here we are on screen. We have Scotty in the middle. You're on the
Yep.
side. I'm on the other side. So you go out on the water and you don't talk aloud, but you go out with Scotty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scotty, so how does that work? Because I imagine that you're talking a lot when you have a client on the boat. You talking to yourself a lot, or or are
No,
you just focused, dialed in on the fish at that time too?
I'm always super hyper focused on the task at hand, and like I'm in the zone. But I also do like to socialize. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
love talking to people because to me, especially being a guide, um, the most important thing is whether it's a good day or a bad day, the people just have fun, you
Yeah.
know? And people and I make posts about this all the time, that like people, especially like that come out with family or come out with their dad or their son, like they're out there trying to make memories, you know, and I take making those memories very, very seriously. So because that's what my dad did for me, you know what I mean? So so I when I have people on the boat, like it's just super important to just make sure, I don't know, regardless, that everyone has a good time. But I'll tell you this. So I was and I got to tell you, I literally even this year I went into almost every trip, even in the beginning of this year, most of this year, thinking I can't do this. You know what I mean? I can't do it. I like I can't make this happen, and I would have to boost myself up to get myself, like believing that I could get it done, and somehow I would go out and get it done. But you meet a lot of people, I'll say, doing this, and I've met a lot of amazing people, and I'll say that as soon as, and sometimes I'm like intimidated by like most of the people that come out at first, you know what I mean? And especially the guys like, and well I should say people that fish up north, you know what I mean? And they're used to catching like big fish, like big tog, like I get a lot of tog guys, and as soon as Eddie and Chell walked down the dock, it was like boom, instant connection. I was like, okay, this, like, they got the vibe, they got the energy, and it was you don't always get that like with everybody. I mean, I do bond and vibe with most anybody, but man, it was like it was just so refreshing. And as a guide, I'll just say this: my favorite thing to do as a guide is guide for women, um, because of the fact that women usually, I'll say 9 out of 10 times, always outfish the guys. Um, they understand the processes. Um, they listen. They focus. Guys just tend to do too much. You know what I mean? They want to wiggle.
Yeah.
They move. and
Yeah.
and women aren't like that. And I'm a huge supporter of women in the fishing community, and I love to see women succeed, especially in a male dominated sport such as this. So yeah, so I'm a huge supporter of that. That's why I wanted to bring Chell on, because I feel like we don't have, we have a lot of men on a lot of different podcasts, but you know what? There's a lot of kick-ass women fishermen out there, and women anglers that really deserve the recognition, and you can really learn a lot from. And Chell was one of those people, you know what I mean? She kind of like stays like out of the limelight, you know what I mean? But I feel like she really deserved, um, for people, more people to get to know her.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, Shell. So to that point, um, there's definitely, I mean, there's no question. I don't know the stats, but there's no question that there are, exponentially more men fishing than women. Have
Yeah.
you noticed, like, do you run into difficulties with that? I've heard from some people, Heaven and Elle as an example, that there's, she's run into some pretty piece of crap people in her time, and it was because she's fishing as a woman. Have you run into anything like that yourself?
Um, I mean, yeah, I know men are bothered when you're fishing. I mean, not most, I'm saying most men, not all men, but when I'm fishing next time, if I don't know them and they don't know me, I'm pretty sure they look at me and they're just like, oh, she doesn't catch any fish. But once I start catching fish, I think they're a little bothered and I think it throws them off so they don't fish as well. Because there's times, I mean, I was just telling Scotty that I catch the pool fish a couple times, and people always have excuses that I mean, this last one was ridiculous that I had a live well on the boat, like that I brought on
You brought on.
I brought on the fish and it was in my cooler, but then that didn't work, and then he said that I had a live well on the boat, on a head boat, like I dragged this live well and
Oh my
stuck it
God.
somewhere imaginary on this head boat, brought this fish on and just kept it alive somewhere out of so no one can see it.
Okay,
I
so let me just say real quick, that is hilarious. I love that, even though it must have sucked for you at the time.
yeah, I
People
did.
like that just, they make me feel so much better about myself. That you can actually say that out loud
Yeah.
and come up with that argument. You got outfished. Look, I've been outfished by women many times. I don't think there's really any difference. I can point to people that have outfished me that are men and women. But it's interesting that your perception is that a lot of men, maybe even most men, don't like it when you're out fishing them.
No, I don't think I mean, that's my impression. It's
Yeah.
not all the time and not on every boat. I mean, I could say on certain boats and that it bothers. I mean, that I felt that, but I don't think it really bothers me that much. I
Yeah.
mean, I can feel it, but nothing really bothers me when I'm out there. I
Mhm.
don't let anything bother me because, I mean, their opinion of me is really not going to matter because I'm just out on the boat to fish.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just throw this. Maybe, I don't know, but I would think that it's not most men, but that look, I know that it's a healthy amount.
Mhm.
But I would say it's probably not most, um, because I don't know that I fish with anyone who doesn't. Maybe it's just who I'm surrounded with, right? Because like people ask for like the women guests on, like they ask for Elle, they ask for Kayla to come back on, Kayla Hale. Kristen has been on. And I see Nick Devereaux in the chat. It's funny. The funniest thing was Kristen trying to be quiet on a charter that we went on, and Nick going toe to toe with her to see who could outfish who. I think Nick actually pulled it out at the very end, but it was hilarious. I caught one fish the whole day, by the way. I was outfished like crazy by Kristen, and she wouldn't let me mean mug her place. I was like coming up next to her. She's like, and
I
she's
don't
just
know
got
why you didn't go. She gets right into people's spots. All you have to do is go right next to her.
well, she
She's good
declares
for
it.
that.
Yeah, she declares it. She's like, "Oh, well, I'm just going to stand right next to you and put my rod right next." And she starts
Right.
fishing next to me. I'm like, "Why? I haven't caught anything." And but she does it in such a nice, funny way. And
Yeah,
then when
she
I go
does.
over, she just looks at me and says, "What?" And she starts leaning. I'm like, "Oh, come on."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I kind of love it though. Like
I see Nick is on right now. I'm sorry, Shadi. Nick
no,
is on right now.
what's that?
Nick is on.
Yeah,
He's on
he's
the
in the
chat right
chat.
now.
Yeah, he's
Cool.
got to throw his little jab at Kristen.
Oh
She
yeah, he
fishes on
does.
roller
He
skates.
does.
She is all over the boat. She is
That
all over the boat. But she's another one. She knows what she's doing.
Oh yeah. No, I listen, I see it firsthand. I see it with even young girls, honestly. Like one of my best trips this year, like a young 16-year-old uh lady angler, she absolutely crushed it. In fact, at the time, she set the length record for the biggest of the year, and she literally followed the process to the T and listened to everything, and she produced. They just have that way about them, and like I said, like I love seeing women succeed, especially in like I said, like a male dominated sport like this, and I love it when women catch more fish, bigger fish, and even seeing it on social media, where it makes some guys uncomfortable, and I love that. I really do.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of the sports. I popular or not opinion. There are sports where you have an advantage being a man. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah.
it's people can get all woke that they want on it, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's just true. Fishing is not one of those. I don't
Not
think.
all.
No, I don't think it is at all. I and yeah, I just don't. I don't know. I can't relate to it because look, I don't notice it, but I also don't feel it. So maybe I'm not looking for it. But Shell, so you had mentioned before tog fishing. You really zero in. Is that your favorite thing to go for?
It is. It's my absolute. I'm addicted to togging.
Okay.
It's not that I'm really looking. I mean, I would love to catch, and keep catching a bigger fish. But I mean, the fight of that and just it's not like a drop in real fish. So it takes some type of skill or some to know the bite because and then some people go from when you go from like fluke season to togging, it's like I know like the best some of the that I've watched fluke and they're just so used to moving all the time. So when we're togging, it's just like they absolutely cannot sit still.
Yeah.
And it's like you turn around and they're already stuck and it's like you have to stay still and you gotta leave. I mean, being stuck is probably the best spot to be.
Right. Yeah.
So, but they
Remember
absolutely cannot sit still.
a little earlier where most men do too much. You know what I mean? They want to
Yeah,
lick. Yeah,
I'm one of them. I
and that you just kind of like confirm that, but it's the truth. It happened. I see it all the time. I see it every day. It's fun.
I do that. I mean, I do have trouble switching from fluke over to tog. I typically need a couple of fish. It doesn't need to be like days, but like I need a couple of good sticks, and then I get back into it. But I've always and I'd be interested in your opinion on this. So the difference, you catch a lot of fluke too. So the difference to me between the two types of fishing is this. I think fluke fishing is more about hunting them and finding the spot. And it's almost nothing about the fight because I've caught some really friggin' big flounder and I've never felt risk on the fight. Right. So it's okay. Maybe they might spit the hook, but it's not like it was a tough fight. Whereas for tog, okay, you're going to a piece and you're just hoping that there's a big tog there.
yeah.
And it's all about the fight because you could hook into a 13-incher and it can bury you in that piece, or you could hook into a double digit and it's going to bury you in that piece. So the action starts not at the hunt, but at the bite. Would you agree with that, or do you think I'm off on that?
The actual fight, when does it begin? Once once he gets hooked?
Yeah, but I mean that like for tog, it's not hunting for the fish necessarily. It's more the fishing, the fun in the fishing for tog is in the fight. Whereas for me, the fun of fishing for fluke, it's not in the fight because it's among the worst fights out there. It's on actually finding the fish. Right. I mean, tog they're going to be on any piece of structure. Right. So you just bounce
Yeah, you
structure
just
to
go
structure.
there.
It's not, yeah. Like I kind of think it's almost luck that you hook into a world record. It is for tog. It is not luck that you landed it, though. That is pure skill and
Yeah.
determination and gear. That is everything. But it's almost luck that you were the one that hooked into it, because your bait's just sitting there. It's not doing anything. You just happen to drop it right there and let it sit undisturbed for the right amount of time. I don't know. Maybe I'm confusing, but it just seems to me that Paul's in there saying he disagrees. He spends months scouting for new pieces. Yeah, I guess.
I kind of tend to agree with Paul. Like, I don't know, like I have like a lot of northern guys come out, like even Jerry Pastorino or Alex Lepke's, and they're just amazed at the way we catch tog down here in South Jersey. You know what I mean? And some of the tog fisheries that we have in places that you would never consider, fishing for tog or catching tog.
Okay. Well, then
But,
I'm fine being wrong.
Yeah.
I just kind of look at it like I can look on a chart and I can look
like flounder are much harder to find, you know what I mean, and dial in that fishery. I'm a horrible flounder fisherman. I will be the first one to admit that.
Well, don't admit that, because you do flounder charters, and they
No.
always seem to catch.
I'll say it's the fishery that I am the, like, I have the least amount of knowledge.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, there's got to be something. It can't be an expert on everything. All right, so Chell, you don't go out and buy all the top end gear. You don't wear gear like, fashion accessories like
No.
a lot of people do. But what are you using? What's your setup for, let's say you're going out on the Osprey on December 7th with all of us.
I am
Yes.
going. I'm
I'm
already
doing
booked.
a little plug. By the way, there's the boat is over halfway filled. There's like less than 15 spots left on the entire boat for that. So anyone who hasn't signed up yet, December 7th, the Osprey, New Jersey, sign up for that. But okay, so what's your first setup that you're going to use on December 7th when we get out there and we get tied up?
I have the same setup that I always use. I have a Daiwa Alexa, and I think it's a Terramar. It's one that I use for sea bass, porgies, and tog. It's just a bottom fishing rod that that's the only thing I use. There's nothing great about it.
Well, but it works. I mean, you've caught how many double digits?
I think I've caught maybe 3 or 4 in Jersey.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple in like Delaware and Maryland.
Yeah, I say that because I've caught 0.
Go ahead.
Well, I go out a lot. You would think. I mean, people think I work on Jamaica too. That's how many times. I'm out all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have a good schedule and I have a lot of vacation time. People think I don't have a job.
I want to be like that.
Tell them what your PB tog is.
11.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at some pictures the other day, and I saw at least 2 double digits. I was like, yeah, that's not even close to. Yeah. I think my biggest is like 9, and it wasn't even one that like looked like it could be 10. It was like, no, it's not going to get there. It was probably like 8, and then some ounce, I think it was like 8 pounds, 13 ounces or 12 ounces or something like that. So not even close. But you're using a pretty basic, like you said, a pretty basic setup. What pound test do you have? I assume you're using braid.
I'm using braid. I think it's 50 and 50.
Oh,
50
so you're
and 40.
Okay, so you're heavy on those, and then and what kind of rig are you using?
If the Belmar, the slider rig.
Okay.
So, and usually when I used to go to Rhode Island, I went twice to Rhode Island, and that drive kills me. Yeah. So I'm like, I stopped going there because I love to tog, but that drive is I must fell asleep maybe 10 times while I was driving home one time. So I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, I love togging, but I can wait. I can just do Jersey togging for right now until, John from No Limit goes back to Delaware, and then I'll start going over there. But other than that, I can't drive to Rhode Island anymore.
I had I was talking to Halkias this summer. He's like, yeah, you got to come up, and I'm like, that is such a long drive. Like, I just don't know if I have the stamina to make that drive, and that's not even Rhode Island. That's
The
just Long
drive
Island.
is okay. I mean, I could drive 5 hours,
Yeah,
but
but it's
driving
fish.
through New York is
Yeah,
is too much. It's too
Yeah.
much for me.
Yeah.
you go through New York, then you fish all day, and then you drive all the way back through New
Yeah.
York.
Yeah.
That just makes me want to. I can't say it on YouTube to myself.
Yeah, I know. I've been there.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's brutal. My brother is saying that on the trip, he would like to have him and my nephews fish next to you so they can learn how to fish.
That's fine.
But then do you also mug people? You move around a
No,
lot?
I could be, and it's funny because they're always like, "Oh, go to the other side. There's bites." I will not move from my spot. I will just stay there all day and try to catch a tog there.
That's kind
And
of how I
everybody's
am.
like, "How can you stay there all day?" I was like, "Yeah, I'd rather just stay here." Because I always feel like if I'm gonna walk away, someone's gonna go right there and catch it. And I think that would upset me more.
Yeah.
If someone caught a fish there and or double digit or something in the spot that I'm in. But I mean,
So
I'm just so used to staying in my spot.
are you front of boat, rear of boat, side? Let's talk head boat, not smaller charter boats.
When I'm on the Osprey, I'm in the stern. I'm in
Yeah,
usually in the starboard stern. If I can get there early enough before
that's
everybody
my
grabs
spot.
it. Now that I mentioned it, it's like everybody's going to get there before me, and
Yeah.
I'm now going to show up 2 hours early just to get my spot.
That's where
But I
I
mean,
like
I
to
know
go.
everybody loves that spot at the door on the starboard side. Everybody loves the door above the door on the starboard side on Osprey. I mean, I've seen big fish caught there, but it's just like it's too many people. I'd
Yeah.
rather be comfortable catching the smaller fish or whatever the case may be than being like jammed up and potentially getting tangled up. I'd
So
rather be comfortable and happy.
yeah, I like going toward actually the starboard stern is where on the Osprey I would go if I can. However, I never show up super early. And there's always those five dudes that are there at like 3 a.m. and they just sit for 4 hours, just
Yeah, I'm one of
watching.
those dudes.
I am not. No, I have too long of a drive. So I actually end up going wherever there's the least number of people most of the time, which puts me on the bow. But I've caught some, I haven't caught the double digit, but I've caught some nice fish on the bow. And here's the thing. If you have a good captain,
Yeah.
he's moving that thing over the structure, right? So he's pulling in line every once in a while. He knows where to put it so that people are catching from front to back, right? Doesn't mean you always are, but he's not just, guessing where he is. And I don't know. I seem to do fine up at the front. But yeah, I'll
I
do
mean,
that
I've
just to get
seen
away from.
fish all around on the
Mhm.
Osprey. Like I've seen them. There was a guy there last year, and he caught his first double digit up in the bow on the port side, and he pulled up. I think it might have been a 10 pounder or 11 pounder,
Oh,
and
nice.
that was his first double digit. And I think he dropped down after and caught another double digit. So he had an awesome day that day. I'm so happy
Man,
for him because
I, I
it was his first double digit.
I
I
got
I could take that.
every tog trip that I've ever went on, I've always gotten skunked. Or actually, I think the most tog I ever caught on a tog trip was maybe like five on the new North Star back in the day. Remember the North Star out of Ocean City? They had the world record for like 25 years or something like that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, definitely.
Till Westerfield came by and took it.
Yeah, and crushed it.
Yeah, he pretty much crushed it. Um, Let me ask you this, Shell. Do you ever use jigs or are you using that Belmar all the time?
I use a jig if it's calm. See, I'm not used to using the jigs unless I'm on land and shallow.
Yeah.
I started using the jig last year, and I don't think it, for me, it doesn't produce as much. I don't produce as much. I mean, I'll catch a bunch of shorts, and I think I've caught maybe a couple keepers, but like I like my go-to. I think because I learned that way, and I trust in my mind, I trust that way to pull the fish up because I'm not like again with my gear not being up to par to me, not up to par as far as the strength or any because I'm not used to using a spinning reel. Like I don't like using it. I
Really?
just I'm comfortable with my with the rig and knowing that I feel that fish biting and because everybody's like, oh, it's easy, if the jig's light, the fish will pick it up and run. It's like not all the time because I've used a jig before and they're literally biting and I'm reeling them in again, they're smaller. They're smaller fish. I've caught way bigger fish on the rig because to
Yeah.
me it's like I know that it's there and I know it's strong enough to reel it up. I think in my mind with it being like lighter line and stuff like that, I feel like it's gonna break and I think that would upset me that if I'm reeling and I know this is a big fish and all of a sudden it just breaks. It's just gonna upset me when I'm like, oh, I could have had a rig but I know there's times where it's a jig bite and it's a rig bite and stuff like that. But I'll just sit there. I will sit there all day with the rig, just while everybody's just throwing jigs. I'm just
Yeah.
sitting there like I'll sit there and use the rig. That's what I'm most comfortable at the time.
So we've talked about this a lot. Scotty, you and I have talked about this a bunch, not even just on stream, but we've talked about it. And I think there's a lot to be said for a confidence rig, a confidence lure, just being confident in your equipment
Yeah.
because you tend to fish differently,
Yeah.
right? So, like, let's say I'm a rig fisherman and now all of a sudden I'm going to go with jigs or it changes it up for me. So now it's like, well, what do I do? Like, because you
Yeah.
do fish it differently. So now I'm not as confident. And now all that nervous energy is going through. I'm moving it around too much, or I'm not moving it enough, and I'm not getting it where it needs to be. And I'm setting quicker because I think it's a lighter setup. So I need to clear that structure quicker.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you're just bringing trouble.
So no, I agree with you because like I'm a jig guy through and through. I think like everybody knows that. Like to me, like I can't even wrap my brain around and comprehend like fishing with a rig. Like at this point, like I it's absolutely necessary, especially for deeper water and the currents that you deal with, like for wrecks and stuff like that. Like I could probably never get away with fishing the way like this backwater guy would want to fish for tog, But I'll say this, every tog trip that I ever went on, tog, like a party boat or whatever, I've never actually given jigs a fair shake because I always thought that you gotta go straight with the rig, and I never seem to do well. I don't know. So I feel like my approach the next time that I go out, I'm gonna go put more effort into the jig route in the way that like I understand and like my brain understands.
Yeah.
Fish. Like you said, like your confidence bait, your confidence lure. So who
But
knows?
then you
I might even bring out some backwater type bait on too.
Hey, it's worth a try. As you see on the screen, SD0753, over the weekend, the tog did not bite the jig, didn't get a tog until a swap to the rig. And, it is, I don't know why. Like to me, it doesn't make sense. The only thing that kind of makes sense is you do tend to get less drift on the rig than a jig. And for people that are unaware, I probably should have clarified this. I don't think I have one here. The rig is basically talking about having a separate weight, usually anywhere from 4 to 8 ounces, depending on the conditions. And then you have just a regular hook set up in different styles. There's the Belmar, there's a bunch of different ones, right? That's a rig. A jig is typically like a bottom sweeper type of hook, which is basically, think about similar to the head of a bucktail, so it's the weighted jig head with the blank hook underneath it, and you're putting the crab on there. So what can happen is you get more drift on the jig because it's lighter weight. And one of the big problems that people have is they'll use the same gear with the jig as they use with the rig. So they're sending down this really heavy line, and the heavy line catches more water. So as the current is pushing, you have all that going against a much lighter weight, because you may only have 2 ounces on that jig. Most people won't even fish over a 3-ounce jig. But compare that to the 8 ounces that you were just using on the rig, and it wasn't moving. It was staying there. It was only fluttering around that weight. So that's one of the big differences between the two. So it is an entirely different thing. And I wish I had brought some. I didn't even think that we would be getting into jigs versus rigs, but
Yeah.
that's one of the things. But you do end up, and this is what I hate, and what is one of the quote unquote unofficial rules for some fishermen on head boats. If you're going tog fishing, do not pull out a jig, because you're going to tangle people up. If you don't have the right gear, you're going to start drifting over other lines, and people get really pissed off when you do that. And if you throw, here's the other thing. This is maybe not as quiet. Like, people will be very vocal about this. If you throw on a glow jig and you drop it when you're tog fishing off, out front, people get like, not physically violent, but verbally violent quickly, because those bring in the dogfish, right? So just a couple of tips for people. Don't bring the glow. Whether it's true or not, people perceive it that way.
I really don't use glow anything, to be honest. Like, honestly, I don't want bright colors. I mean, every single tog that I've ever caught and put in my live well, they're all full of mussels. I would use straight black jigs, like all day, every day, like if I could, you know what I mean? Or something that's going to blend in. But that's just my personal preference.
Yeah, well, because you're going for silhouette rather than color and brightness. And silhouette, a dark silhouette is going to stand out, whether it's bright out or it's dark, but it's really going to stand out in a sandy bottom, or if you have a lot of stuff going along the bottom. Right?
Yeah,
it just sticks out more, which is why you use black lures at night. It's a really, really good contrast, because no matter how dark it is, that sky ain't black, right? So they can see it moving above them.
Yeah. Which it's kind of a quick, funny point to that, and I may have told this story before, but like I like dropping cameras a lot underwater, and this one day I dropped my camera in some really murky water, and all I saw was this black thing go zoom, 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 and I was like, "What the hell was that?" And it was actually it was a tog, and it clicked in my brain why black works so well at night, and in actually probably a lot of different conditions, because it's a shadow that it throws. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's about silhouettes in a lot of cases. So let me ask you this, Chell. So, God, this turned into a tog episode.
Yeah.
So for tog, which is good, because tis the season, right? We went through the striped bass. We'll come back to that in the last couple of episodes. We did that, but tog is really about to take over in a couple of weeks, and it's all of the mental patients that are addicted to tog.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I'm super excited. As soon as I seen Osprey said they were going to be here on friggin' November 15th or 16th. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was just like, book.
I was thinking about it. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I got to save my time. So I was like, all right, the first time I'm going to go is December 7th. But I actually enjoy going as long as they're sailing. So the colder for me, the better. Like it's like there've been trips where we've gone out and not even thinking, we left the rods outside, and you get halfway out and you look out and your rods are just encased in ice. So you have to go out and get them, bring them in to thaw in the cabin as you're going out because the spray is just freezing on everything. Those are my kinds of days. Those are the days that I truly, truly like fishing for tog. To me, that's tog season. Like November is not tog season yet for me. It's when it's cold. But let me ask you this. When you have your rigs going down, are you fishing? What are you doing to the bait? What are you going to first as far as greens versus, white leggers or anything else?
Uh, if they have whites, I'll do white first, or it depends. It depends on how warm it is too. I mean, it depends because I try everything. I actually try half and half sometimes because I don't know
Yeah.
what they want. Sometimes I try everything until I can feel what they like. So I'll try a whole crab, then I'll try halves. I'll try every combination there is. Take the shell off the top. I don't step on it. Let me break it up. I'll try everything until I get to a point where I'm actually catching fish.
Okay.
Um, so I'll start off with a whole crab and cut it in half. And my go-to to squishing them is stepping on them.
Yeah.
Just take it, step on it, and throw it out.
So I found that I'm a little too heavy footed for that. So I take the weight and just drop it on it on the rail and just crack the shell that way.
Just crack the shell a little with the weight. That's
Scotty, I can't tell you how many I put on the hooks, and then I was like, I didn't smash it. So I just, it's already down near the ground, and I just step on it and it just like falls apart. Damn. You're just kicking it out underneath the rails. You're like, I hope nobody saw me waste that bait.
I always felt bad for the poor mates that got to clean up a tog trip, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's a mess.
Oh, it is. It is. Yo, even my boat, I'm not even kidding you. Like I have stowaway fiddlers that live on my boat at all times. Like I went back down in my bilge just yesterday, and I still have. There's 2 fiddlers that are living in my bilge. Yep. There's
That's bad.
literally everywhere. In fact, I think I'm still finding Bay Bay hair on my boat.
And that's my confetti.
Yeah.
Well, you were just out last week with him, right?
No.
2 weeks ago?
Weeks ago at this point.
2 weeks.
I think it was longer than that, and my hair's still there. I think that's in every boat that I've stepped on.
Yeah.
Well, so let's go back. Okay.
Like, yeah, she's a tog queen, but I'll tell you what, she took to sheeps like immediately. Immediately, she really did.
So that's what I was going to ask.
Tog, but it's a lot. I think that moves like they're neck and neck, sheep's head and tog, but I don't get to do sheep's head as much as I get to tog though.
Yeah.
I mean, but if I had a choice and I could sheep's head as much as I tog, yeah, I would definitely be out there.
Yeah.
For sure. Because sheep's head is like going right above. That fight on shallow and light tackle, my God. Like it's I can't even explain it. That the day that the first time I went out with Scotty and me and my boy Eddie went out there, my God, that day was just like it was crazy. It was crazy that day.
I felt like that like there's certain times like throughout like my fishing career where I just had like an epiphany or something happened that just changed my entire direction and trajectory of like my fishing career. And I saw that unfold for you in front of my eyes, and it was just such a rewarding feeling to see that, because like you took to it right away, and it was just amazing to see. And I'll tell you what, she grinds too, even when it's tough. She always
yeah.
And that's the other thing too, like I really wanted to touch on, like mentality with all fishing goes, like I feel like 90% or more of fishing is staying positive and staying in the game and not like not getting frustrated, you know what I mean, and keeping like that positive mentality, because like guiding, I see it all the time. People start to get in their own way with things, you know what I mean, and that's something that Chell does very, very, very well, and there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to push through sometimes. I took a guy out. He was visiting from, I think it was from Delaware, and he sent me a message. He said, "Look, I know that you fish this area. I'm going to be in town. Want to get out with my son and go fishing." Now, his son and he are both extremely accomplished freshwater fishermen with a lot of saltwater experience, but they weren't familiar with the area. So I said, "Yeah, I mean, if you have your own kayaks, let's go." He's like, "Yeah, we both got our pedal kayaks." We went out, and his son is like, I think he's like a champion bass fisherman. And he got frustrated when we were just fluking. He got frustrated. His dad is pulling in like multiple 20 inchers, like right next to him, and he's not getting anything. And it was like, it's because you're so frustrated. Like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And, he wants to fish it like the bass and, like running gun. It's like, that's not what we're doing today. And I think he caught nothing. Whereas I think Frank and I both limited like really nice size fish. I think the smallest one was 20 inches. And back then it was 3 keepers over 18. So we each had at least 20 inches plus 3 fish each. And his son got nothing. But he was so bitter. He was so frustrated. I think he actually left in the middle of the day because he just wasn't catching anything.
That's what I always say, man. Like you can't leave 5 minutes before the miracle happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, especially he's such a good fisherman, right?
Yeah.
Like he put us in fresh water. He would have fished me literally into the ground. Like it would have been ridiculous. I would have been like a baby next to him, but I was out fishing him because yeah, it was a grind of a day, but I was willing to grind. And
Yeah.
Frank was willing to grind, and he did
Yeah.
well. Maybe he caught something, but I know he didn't have a keeper. I know he didn't have a keeper all day, and the other two of us, we both limited right in front of him, and there were other people around us catching as well. So it definitely does. It does transfer over. It definitely transfers over, right?
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it.
All right. So as we come up to the hour, Chell, I do want to ask you this. And I want to go back to how we kind of started, where Scotty was saying, it's about making the memories and everything. Now you've been fishing for 5 years approximately. Have you had that moment that you can say, I'm always going to remember this fish?
My first tog. My first double digit tog.
Okay.
I'll never forget that. I'll never
tell
ever
us about
forget that moment.
Tell us about that.
It was cold. It was probably the wind blowing. It was probably about -20.
Oh,
And I was on the head boat, and there was actually snow on the benches. Like it was forming on the bench because the way the wind was blowing. And we were all huddled up in the back, like in the middle in the back. So if the wind blew, we were all like, there was probably about 12 of us. And I think my boy's on here that was on the boat with me. So we're huddled up in the back trying to fish for tog. And my buddy, that's my good friend, the head mate, was fishing up front by himself. So he comes to the back and he's like, Chell, grab one white crab and follow me to the front, right? So grab one white crab, so cold, like even the crabs are like dead, but they're alive, but they're, yeah. So he was like, put it on, don't pitch that far out, just pitch it out and then, let it fall. So I pitched it out and he was just like, they're not going to be nibbling. He was like, if you feel a bite, it's cold, this, whatever, they're just going to bite that thing. If you feel that bite, hook it. hooked fish. So I drop it down and I wait it no longer than maybe 10 seconds. A fish bit it and I yanked it and I hooked the fish. So I'm like reeling it. So like I'm the way I'm holding the reel, like my thumb is on the reel. And he's like, stop thumbing. Like, it's running on me. And he's like, stop. I'm like, I'm not doing it. He's like, if you, and I'm like reeling, and I'm still now he's still running and digging on me, and I'm still thumbing his, and he's like still yelling at me, and then like my boy's screaming like, shut up, he's yelling at me, and then he's like, you're still, and I'm like, I'm not, and then the captain is like, yeah, sure. He's like looking down, I'm like, everybody be quiet. So I'm like reeling, now it got stuck. So I'm still trying to reel this damn fish, and I think it popped that I thought I lost the fish. So, but I started reeling. It was still fighting, so I had lost the sinker in
Oh,
in the wreck. So it broke off. So I'm like reeling this fish up, and like he's grabbing the net. When he reeled this fish up, and like when he netted it and he put it on the thing and like slammed on the thing, I mean, I was jumping up and down.
yeah.
When I tell you it didn't feel like -20 out there, it was so I was so warm and so hot. I didn't even feel how cold it was.
Yeah.
And then just after that, it was just like I just wanted to keep catching more cod. Like it was, I think after that, that was just like more, more, more. Like my addiction just like skyrocketed from there.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll
Yeah.
absolutely see, the reason that I asked is if you have a memory like that, you don't just tell the story about the fish. Like you started with how cold it was, and you remember there was snow, and you remember,
Yeah.
the condition of the bait, and the people yelling behind you, and how you felt after. And that right there is the perfect example of your story. Everybody has one, and
Yeah.
that is definitely your story, because you remember every little detail
Yes.
about that.
I'll never forget it. I'll never, ever. And it was funny because I was just like, I think someone had a GoPro, or I think I had my Ray-Ban glass that record. And I just was completely out of it trying to pull this fish in that I completely forgot about everything. But I mean, I'll never forget it. I'll
Yeah,
never forget that day.
that's
Or
great.
that.
Scotty, what's yours?
I would say going back to my double digit tog that I caught, and like literally, I was after that fish for 10 years. I ran my bay boat like 16 miles to this one wreck. I had to wait for a weather window. I get out there, my trolling motor battery is dead. I have enough trolling motor battery to make one drop. I drop one Mac Daddy Asian crab on a jig down. As soon as it hit the bottom, thump. I was like so taken back. I started fighting it, reeling it up, and then it ran me back down to the bottom. I was like, there's only one thing out here that's going to eat a crab like that. It ran me back down to the bottom 4 different times. And mind you, I'm in flip flops, and it's like end of August. I'm doing this, and when it came up, I lost my entire mind. I think I still have video of me like cursing and freaking out, but like the stoke from that my first double digit tog, like I totally lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no,
That,
I did. And I'll I'll have to say like that that double digit tog may have even topped my first sheep, believe it or not.
well, I'm not a fan of sheep, so I'm the
What?
one. I don't like fishing for sheep's head. I love the fight. I do not like the fishing. But let
It's
me
a lot of
qualify it. I fish from a kayak, and it is a pain in the neck to be up against bridge pilings and jetties in a kayak.
yeah.
And I just don't enjoy it. I'd rather like go for the striped bass that are around the pilings,
Yeah.
or usually I just stop after like 20 minutes and go for fluke. Yeah, I'm one of those people, you know. It's just not. It's just not. Hey, everybody's got their species that they're into. I do have to say though, I absolutely love tog.
Yeah.
And it's one that I want to get better at, which is probably why I'm constantly talking to people that are better than me that I can watch. I was out the one time I was out with. It was the time that I was out with Kristen and Nick. And I was fortunate enough to have Nick on my left, and Nick was struggling until he wasn't. And, Nick Devereaux, for those that are unaware, he's definitely a better tog fisherman than me. So I like watching and trying to pick up things from people that are around me. Unfortunately, on my right, I had Ed Gobo, and he and I were both not catching it. We were both like the worst on the boat that day. We were just kept looking at each other. We're like, they're reeling in around us. We're like, what the hell is going on? Nick's pulling in to the left. I'm like, God dang. Yeah. Kristen was quietly catching a ton right up near the cabin. But yeah, she didn't want people to know that she was bailing them all day. But yeah. All right. Well, Chell, I want to thank you for coming on. Hopefully it wasn't too painful for you.
It wasn't too painful. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I told you we just talk fishing.
Yeah,
We could talk for hours, I'm sure.
Yeah, we actually could.
Yeah, there's so many things that I want to ask about, but yeah, we're over an hour already. So I don't, maybe we can convince you to come back sometime, and I'll use the trip on the 7th to try to talk you into that. Yeah. Well, I'll do it before we stop and you get quiet and you get focused. And Scotty, I'll look for you to help me out on that.
It has to be in between moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I also get very focused when I'm fishing. So I'm not typically, I'm actually not, despite having a podcast and live stream, I am not, the extrovert that's out talking to everybody. I get very uncomfortable doing that anyway. So I get really quiet. So it'll be when we're moving that I'll be talking to people for the most part. It's just more comfortable that way.
Happy to not have to drive.
You never know. He might bring you up top.
Yeah, no, I will not. I'll probably be the one that's socializing and pissing everybody off.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm looking forward to it. I this weekend I got my tog gear out and took the reel apart and starting to put it together again. Hopefully I remember how to put it back together. I took a bunch of photos, but yeah, I'm really excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. Everybody, if you're not signed up yet, the Osprey, New Jersey, make sure it's New Jersey, out of AC area. And it's on December 7th. Boat leaves at 7 a.m. It's going to be fun. Over half of the boat is full already. I don't know how many are with us, but the fact that it's a random Sunday and it's only been available to book for a week kind of indicates that there's a lot that are coming because of this. We talked about it on this stream and on the podcast. So hopefully we'll get to see a lot of people there. Chell, thank you again for coming on. Really appreciate it. It's great talking with you.
You're welcome.
Scotty, we'll talk again very soon.
Awesome.
And I will say next week, I think it's next week. Might be the week after. I have to double check, but we're going to continue with tog, and we're going to have Frank Mahalik coming on to talk. And then Scotty, you got some more guests lined up for after that. So we're going to have a action-packed end of the year for everyone. And I'm really looking forward to it. So everyone, thanks for stopping by. We'll be back next week. Until next time, everyone, even with this weather, get out there, get on the water, and get some tight line.